Ryan Fitzpatrick penciled in Miami, but Todd McShay projects the Dolphins will take Tua with the number 5 pick. Meanwhile, nabbed one of a couple Cowboys on the move. Had the oldest roster 2 seasons ago, but last year there was an infusion of youth. They became the 9th youngest. John Gruden brought in a lot of experience Tuesday, signing Jason Witten to a 1-year deal. It'll be his 17th season in the NFL. Robert Quinn also on the move out of Dallas, 5 years, $70 million. The 30-year-old will line up opposite Khalil Mack. He's got 80.5 sacks in 9 seasons. And in a corresponding move, Chicago released the 9th overall pick from the 2016 draft, Leonard Floyd. All right, the lineup on Wednesday as follows. Begins with Get Up at 8 Eastern. Throughout the day, there are sports centers and the free agency special, keeping an eye on the NFL, which, in the absence of anything else, has certainly kept us very busy with interesting stories. And then we will be here at 11 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday. A member of the Ottawa Senators has tested positive for the coronavirus. Tuesday, the first member of the NHL to test positive. Be safe.
Good morning. It is time to get up with Tampa Tom Brady to the Bucs. Are they now the team to beat in the NFC? That answer may surprise you. Plus, the Panthers say hello and goodbye to big-name QBs on the same day. Did they make the right choice? And where does Cam go from here? And Indy turns to Old Man Rivers to try to get over the top. Are the Colts a legit contender in the packed AFC? Or was this a huge mistake? We've got all the answers on a busy morning as we get up with you, starting right now. And delighted that you are here for the ride. Greeny with you, and I've got everybody ready to go as we continue what has been an enormous week as the National Football League is being reshaped right before our eyes as we speak. And, of course, the biggest move of all by far. Tom Brady appears to be on his way to Tampa Bay. Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington reporting last night. The Bucs are the expected landing spot for the 6-time Super Bowl champ. As of yet, no signing date or official announcement has been set up, but the hysteria around Tampa has most definitely already begun. As of just 24 hours ago, their odds to win the entire league were 40-1. Now that Brady is coming to town, they've dropped nearly in half, 22-1. Now, I would add, no team has ever won the Lombardi Trophy in their own city. The Super Bowl this year will be hosted by Tampa Bay. And the aforementioned Shefty and Jeff Darlington are with us here with outstanding work, and it continues. Shefty, I will start with you. Why did Brady ultimately decide Tampa was the right place?
Well, Green, let's start with this fact. They're still finalizing the language in the contract. It's not yet done, but it's not expected to be an issue in getting done. And Tom Brady, at some point here, whenever they get the language final, whenever the new league year begins at 4 o'clock Eastern today, will announce at some point that he is going to Tampa to play for the Buccaneers. And I think the Buccaneers offer him many of the things that he was looking for. No team was going to offer everything. But during the course of this process, there were a lot of different options that could come up at different times. And it was all a question of where the wheel was going to stop in the end. And in the end, it stops on Tampa, which has a great head coach in Bruce Arians, who's worked with other quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck and Ben Roethlisberger and Carson Palmer. And now Tom Brady gets to work with him on an offense that has lots of weapons. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, Ronald Jones. So he will fit right in there. And as you pointed out, Greeny, last year they had 7 losses by less than 1 score. And in those games, Jameis Winston turned over the football 18 times. So if you take Tom Brady, put him on a team that was ready to win last year, that managed the ball and took better care of the ball, then that team last year would have won more regularly than it did. And I think Tom sees an opportunity in Tampa that some people, I think, early on did not recognize. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, Schefter. I mean, look, this was a situation where I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, midway through February, did something that a lot of teams didn't. They recognized that Tom Brady was serious about free agency. And one of the things that's especially interesting is the Bucs at one point were getting a little antsy. They weren't trying to pressure anything within internally when it came to going after another quarterback, but they did recognize if they felt like they weren't going to get Brady during the early stages of free agency, they needed to start crafting other plans. Instead, though, they remained stoic. They shot their shot. They waited for free agency to open, and they struck. They had done a self-analysis and realized that they were in a position to offer Tom Brady the things that he most coveted. And quite frankly, when it got done, they were in the best position to show Tom Brady that they were the spot for him.
And Jeff, let me just add to that. I think Tampa Bay had a geographic advantage that a lot of other teams didn't. The Raiders are out west. The Chargers are out west. And while Tom Brady easily could have flown back east to be with his family, it's easier to do it from the East Coast. So Tampa is sitting there on the East Coast, not a far flight away from New York. And so why not make that happen? And that was just another advantage for Tampa that almost fell into the Buccaneers' lap. And you remember this, Greeny, the Buccaneers were the runner-ups in trading for Brett Favre. They almost had him. There were people who thought Brett Favre was going to wind up there before he wound up with your New York Jets. In this particular case, the Bucs, not the runner-up, they get the quarterback that they wanted.
And so much more to talk about here, and we will as the morning goes on. But quickly for both of you, Shefty, what are the Patriots' plans now at quarterback? They need one for the first time in a generation.
Well, right now, Jarrett Stidham is quarterback one. Yeah. And the Patriots are not the type of team that reacts very quickly or panic. They take their time. They think these things through. Now, obviously, they just recognize that Tom Brady isn't going to be there, and it wasn't something that they didn't realize couldn't happen. But I would imagine what you'll see is they'll draft one as well, and then they've got two quarterbacks on two rookie contracts. And also, at some point in time, one of these veterans is not going to find a landing spot, whoever that may be. We know there are other quarterbacks that could be traded, like Andy Dalton, maybe Nick Foles. In Jacksonville, you've got on the street Jameis Winston, Cam Newton's going to be out there. Who knows where the chips fall? But there's going to be some quarterback that's left without a home in late March, early April, that the Patriots will probably scoop up on a team-friendly deal, as they usually do during free agency. You draft another quarterback, and then you see which quarterback rises up.
All right, I'm going to leave it there for the moment, guys. Thank you both. Outstanding work. We will come back to you for sure, but I want to get Swagoo and Marcus in here. Let's talk about what he's got in Tampa. By he, I mean Tom. First of all, great receivers. The Buccaneers had two receivers finish with more than 1,100 receiving yards last year, and those are Godwin and Evans. The last time Brady had a pair of receivers finish with 1,100 yards in the same season was all the way back in 2009. And after all these years with Bill Belichick, Brady now teams with Bruce Arians, who was a two-time Coach of the Year. He's coming off his first season with Tampa. He is known as a quarterback-friendly coach. And then there's the defense. The Bucs allowed 3.3 yards per rush last year. They had 47 sacks. That is a good D, and it's led by Shaq Barrett, who had this reaction to the news that Tom Brady is on his way to town.
I'm instantly thinking we're going to be a contender, we're going to be a playoff contender, and that's all I want to do is play winning football again and try to get a championship. So that's a step in the right direction. I always thought he was a winner. Like, I know why they dislike the Patriots, but not Tom Brady. I don't see the Tom Brady thing. I guess just because he was a part of it. But I was always a fan of winning. They doing something right up there, so I just want to win. So anything that he could bring down to help us win, that's what I want to do.
Well, and that's what one should expect. Take a look at the numbers. Last year, Jameis Winston, you were aware that it was all over the place. All those yards, all those touchdowns, all those picks. Our fantasy expert, Mike Clay, projects that Brady will throw for almost 4,500 yards, nearly 30 touchdowns, but cut down significantly on the turnovers. And so let's talk about that with our guys. Dan Orlovsky and the big Swagoo Marcus Spears are here. And Dan, I will start with you. You were telling us yesterday you were all over this, that Tampa was the right place for Tom. Tell us what you expect from them and him now that it appears to be on its way to happening.
I mean, Greeny, Tampa vaults to the top of the NFC in the conversation with the Saints and the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks and the Rams and the Eagles. I mean, this is going to be a competitive conference now, and the Buccaneers are right at the top of it because of Tom Brady going there. A couple things that we have to look at because of the fit with this, right? Everyone's going to Bruce Arians and saying as the head coach, and then Byron Leftwich as a play caller doesn't fit what Tom Brady does. And I would argue that. I would argue that Tom Brady, one, can still absolutely push the football downfield in the 15 to 20-yard throws. People think that Bruce Arians is going to turn this offense into like a June Jones, Chuck and Duck situation where Tom Brady's just going to be sitting back there on 7-step drops. Something that Bruce Arians has loved to do recently is the play-action pass, hard ball play-action pass. That's also something that Tom Brady has really become comfortable with and good at. So I don't expect the Bucs to just hang Brady out to dry, 5-step or 5-man protection, 7-step drop. So if you just look at this football team scheme-wise, it actually is a good fit for Tom Brady. And then we've talked about the turnovers with Jameis Winston. If you look at Tom Brady, he's got the second least amount of turnovers in the last 5 years at the quarterback position in football. Just that alone is going to be worth 4, 5, 6 more wins for this football team down in Tampa Bay. This is a brilliant move by them, and it's an outstanding move for Tom Brady fit-wise.
Swagoo, how good are the Bucs this year? You look at a division that has New Orleans. Dan just ran through some of the other better teams in the NFC. Getting out of the AFC is probably a benefit. How good are the Bucs?
They are very good, G, and we've always talked about and lauded about the NFL being a quarterback league. That's why we paid so much attention to this particular free agency, because it was so many quarterbacks on the landscape. But I want to go to something that you guys hear, because as a defensive guy, I want to give you perspective. And we just heard Shaq Barrett talk about, well, now we have an opportunity. That lets you know how much the quarterback spot weighs on the defensive guys' minds heavily. I'm sure a lot of those times when you talk about all of those turnovers that Tampa Bay had, Jameis Winston throwing interceptions, you coming off the field, you going right back on the field. So you're not performing even at your highest level as good as that defense was. Now they've locked up JPP. Shaq is back. Devin White in the middle of that defense. They are young, they are hungry, and now they have a quarterback where they feel like if they go out and make plays, if they create turnovers, if they flip field position, we got a guy that's going to put us in the end zone and give us a chance to win. This is of crazy magnitude that Tom Brady decided to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm excited about the fact that we get to see him and Drew Brees, the 40-somethings, play each other twice a year.
Yeah, and those would seem to be the two best teams in that division. Quickly, Dan, and we'll have much more time to talk about their side of it. How about his former team, the Patriots? Are they the team to beat in the AFC East this year?
No, that's the Buffalo Bills. It was the Buffalo Bills before this move, Greeny. If we look at the last 2 months of last year's season, the Buffalo Bills had a better record.